Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, The School of Hard Knocks. So, throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2017 season. So, we have all this week been playing with a bit of a fun team. As I said yesterday, we started off the week with a team review episode, putting this team together, showing you how we kind of took a common core and put our own twist on it, put the EVs together and stuff like that. So we're going on to the battle spot straight away. We'll hopefully find an opponent pretty quickly, and this will be the final day that the episode that we're gonna be running this team. So unfortunately, starting next week, we'll have a new team, and that'll be off the back of the International Challenge, the Wi-Fi tournament that will be starting today. So if you guys are competing in it, I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you have a great tournament. But we'll be approaching how I've done on that on Monday. So, without dragging this on anymore, we've got our first opponent, and they are running a team of Arachnoid, Hariyama, Snorlax, Mimikyu, Lucario, and Alolan Exeggutor. So, the Alolan Exeggutor isn't something that we commonly see. I don't think we've played one this season so far on the channel, so it'll be interesting to see what that does. He's got the Trick Room mode with that. It's obviously a Dragon and Grass type now, not a Grass and Psychic type like the normal Exeggutor form is. We've got the Lucario that can offer Follow Me support for the Trick Room, and the things like Belly Drum Snorlax setting up, the Mimikyu setting up Trick Room, and we've got to be careful with the Hariyama offering Fake Out support to help with that Trick Room setup. So, what are we going to do here? Also, we've got to be aware of the Arachnoid, which puts a lot of pressure onto the Torkoal, takes its attacks really well and can handle it very well. So, I think what I'm going to do is leave my Tapu Lele just to prevent that Trick Room setup. I do want to bring the Torkoal here. I think I might lead Garchomp, bring Torkoal and Oranguru in the back. Because the Oranguru is a part normal type, it's a nice switch into the Tapu Lele if my opponent does go for the Mimikyu lead and goes for maybe a Never-Ending Nightmare Z-move onto it turn 1. At least I've got that nice switch in with the Oranguru, and then I can also have if I need to turn the Trick Room around at any point, I can also do that as well with the Oranguru, with the option of Trick Room to reverse it or set it up myself. So we're going to lead off with the Garchomp and Tapu Lele, and we see my opponent lead off with the Lucario and the Mimikyu. So I would expect maybe a Follow Me from the Lucario to come out and a Trick Room from the Mimikyu. So what are we going to do here? Now what I am going to do is what I said. I'm going to switch in my Oranguru. It has got that telepathy ability, so it allows me to get an Earthquake off with my Garchomp and not take any damage from my partner at the same time. And like I said already, if the Mimikyu goes for a Ghost type attack into that slot, we're going to be immune to it because of that the part normal type that Oranguru has. So we see the Lucario go for the Follow Me. Garchomp is scoffed, so it's going to be moving first before everything, and we will get the Earthquake off. We'll break the Disguise on the Mimikyu and do a good chunk of damage to the Lucario. We do take the Lucario down to its Focus Sash, and we'll see what this Mimikyu is going to go for. Obviously, we need to be aware of the play rough, possibly onto the Garchomp, but we do see its Disguise busted, and we do see the Mimikyu go for the Trick Room. So, what can we do here? Now I could just go for, and I think what I will do is just go for an Instruct on my Garchomp. So I'll get an Earthquake off before the Lucario, and potentially the Mimikyu can move, and I'll get another Earthquake off myself, as long as Garchomp doesn't get KO'd this turn. It shouldn't be KO'd by the player rough, so we do get the Instruct off. So we will be hitting before everything else with the Earthquake here. We will pick up the KO onto Lucario, and obviously because of that telepathy ability on the Oranguru, it's not going to take any damage from the Garchomp spread attack. We do a decent amount of damage to the Mimikyu, taking it down to about 50%, so if we can get that other Earthquake off, we will be picking up the KO potentially. We do see a player rough come from the Mimikyu, and it takes Garchomp down to about 20-25% health there. Mimikyu is going to take a bit of rough skin damage, and the Earthquake from our Garchomp is going to pick up the KO, putting us in a nice position going into the last few turns of this match, or potentially could be the last few turns of this match. So, now it'll be interesting to see what my opponent's last two Pokemon are. I would imagine the Arachnoid will be one of them, so we do need to be careful playing around that. Yeah, and we see the Arachnoid come out. And the Snorlax, okay. So, big threats. The Snorlax is obviously a big threat. I've got nothing at the minute. I'm locked into Earthquake with my Garchomp. I could go for an Instruct Earthquake, but I don't think it's going to really be getting me anywhere, to be honest. And I've also got the Z Trick Room. Let's think what I could do. Yeah, I'm going to actually protect my Oranguru this turn and just sack my Garchomp, and then at least I can bring in my Torkoal the next turn and get some big damage off onto that Snorlax. Because I think at the moment the Snorlax is the bigger issue, and I want to try and... Yeah, so we need to try and keep the Tapu Lele intact, so when we do bring it in, at least we'll be outspeeding it out of Trick Room, and we can hit it on the special side rather than the physical side. So we do see a Liquidation come out from the Arachnoid onto the Garchomp. It will take a little bit of damage through the wrist skin. So I could have really got an attack off with my Oranguru there, so it's a bit wasteful that turn. Now I can bring in my Torkoal here and potentially double into the Arachnoid, because the Psychic Terrain is up, so we should be hitting pretty hard with the Eruption to start with in the sun. I know Arachnoid it does resist it, especially with that Water Bubble ability, but with the Z Psychic that we could potentially do here, so I am going to go for a Shattered Psyche into the Arachnoid and just an Eruption, just to get some big damage off, and hopefully my Torkoal can kind of come through this turn. So we do see a Wide Guard come out from the Arachnoid. Snorlax goes for a turn into the Torkoal. Okay, so it's not likely that it has the high horsepower, which is something to take forward into the next few turns. We will get the Shattered Psyche off with our Oranguru, so it'll be interesting to see how much damage this does onto the Arachnoid. I wouldn't have thought I'd pick up the KO, but we are boosted by the Psychic Terrain as well, so it should do a good chunk of damage. If we can take it down to about 75%, it puts us in a good position going forward. Does huge damage. So, I think what I'm going to do is just go for a Psychic... no, I'm not. I'm going to go for a Protect with my Oranguru, and I'm going to go for a Will-O-Wisp into the Snorlax, just to neuter its attack. I should have probably went for that the previous turn. We see the Arachnoid Protect here, so what is this Snorlax going to go for? Snorlax goes for the return into the Torkoal again. And does underspeed us because of that curse, so that's a bit unfortunate. The Trick Room does end. Now we've got Tapu Lele, so we can set up the Psychic Terrain again. And what I'm going to have to do is just go for the Psychic into the Arachnoid. It protected last turn, so it should be able to protect again this turn, just to pick up the KO there and just start getting some big damage onto the Snorlax with a Psychic from my Tapu Lele. And hopefully we can survive at least one attack from the Snorlax. We get the Psychic off with the Tapu Lele onto the Snorlax, doing decent enough damage, just about out of proccing the... oh wow. See, the Arachnoid actually outspeeds my Oranguru. I should probably be paying more attention to the speed tiers. So we do get the Psychic off. don't know if it's going to be enough to kill the Arachnoid, but it is. Okay, that's fine. And the Snorlax is going to go for a turn into the Lele, potentially. Yeah. Yeah, and a critical hit. I don't know if we would have survived that anyway, but we do have a bit of a defense investment, so that is super unfortunate, that critical hit. I don't think we're going to be able to win out the match now, because I think Oranguru now will be in return range from the Snorlax, and we're just going to proc possibly the berry that it's holding now with this Psychic. Yeah. So I think we've been undone by a Snorlax again, and it just shows that Snorlax versus this sort of team does really thrive, because under the Trick Room that you're kind of relying on a lot of the time setting up, it's going to just take advantage of the possible curses or the belly drums or anything like that, and out of Trick Room at that point it's already boosted, powered up, so it's already at a massive advantage, so it's just hard work for your team to really deal with when you haven't got any ways to really deal with it very well. I think that first turn where I brought the Torkoal in, I should have initially went for the Will-O-Wisp, and I think that would have put us in a much better position when the Trick Room ended to kind of clear the field up. Obviously as well, not realising things like the Arachnoid speed tier and stuff like that didn't help at all, so just a lot of mistakes in that match, getting very complacent. I think after taking such a good lead in the game, taking down the Mimikyu and the Lucario so early, I got a bit complacent going into the latter parts of the match anyway. So without going into any more of the previous match, we have our next opponent with a team of Alolan Marowak, Milotic, Alolan Ninetales, Garchomp, Tapu Koko, and Metagross. So hopefully we can finish this episode off with a win. It would be nice. We've had 3 losses now, so not great, but do take things from the losses. I'm trying to, as much time as I don't have to really analyse all the losses, I am trying to pick apart little bits of where we went wrong, and hopefully that's stuff you guys can kind of take on board and take into matches if you ever have similar matchups like this with similar teams and things. So just things to think about. So what we're going to do to approach this, he's obviously got the weather control with the Ninetales, so it'd be nice to bring the Torkoal here to this match, because it's also going to be doing good damage to the Ninetales and the Metagross, and if we can get in a position, it'll be doing good damage to the Tapu Koko as well. We need to be careful of the Marowak, who resists Torkoal's attacks, and the Garchomp, who can hit us for super effective damage. So let's think, what are we going to lead here? Very tempted to lead Oranguru Torkoal, to be honest. Or maybe Oranguru Garchomp, bring Torkoal, and Tapu Lele as well. So we'll go with that and see how we get on. Ooh. It has been fun playing with this team this week. I have enjoyed it, but like I said, it's not a massively serious team. It was just a team that I've been wanting to try out for a while, and now we have, and I have enjoyed it. I do think there's areas of the team that could be improved upon, but one of the big things with this team that makes it difficult to play against is because it was so popular in the early stages of the metagame that it's become, people are very familiar with the core and the concept and how it works, so they're more tuned to setting up and playing that team, which makes it a lot more difficult for the player on the receiving end of that. But then again, there's no excuse for that. You can adjust to how the team operates and things like that. So we see my opponent here lead off with his Alolan Marowak and Garchomp, and we lead with our Garchomp and Oranguru. So we're putting a lot of pressure onto the Marowak straight away, and what I might do is go for a sneaky one-hit KO onto the Garchomp and just go for a Earthquake with my Garchomp, because we will be getting the Earthquake off first. Marowak does protect, and let's see what this opposing Garchomp goes for. We'll definitely be able to pick up the KO with a combination of Earthquake and the Shattered Psyche, if we can get it off, of course. You never know what this Garchomp's going to do. So the opposing Garchomp just goes for an Earthquake itself. doing decent enough damage to both of my Pokemon. And we get the Shattered Psyche off with our Oranguru. So we should pick up the KO here onto the Garchomp. Big damage. So yeah, the Garchomp goes down to Shattered Psyche. So at least that's one threat taken care of. Now we've just got to kind of concentrate on that Marowak. Once the Marowak's kind of out the picture, it makes Torkoal's job a lot easier coming in. But we need to make sure that we're kind of preserving the Oranguru at the same time, because otherwise we're not going to have enough health to take an attack and potentially get that Trick Room up later in the game. Now, what do I want to do here? I think I might... Now we can get an Earthquake off with our Garchomp before anything else does attack, but we're not going to be able to survive a Blizzard or any other Ice type attack that comes out from it. And we're locked into Earthquake, so we don't have many options of switching out the Oranguru. So what I might do, just to get some damage off onto the Marowak, is just go for the Earthquake with the Garchomp, break the sash on the Ninetales and just protect my Oranguru in this situation. So get the Protect off with the Oranguru, we get the Earthquake, so we will break the sash on the Ninetales and do a good amount of damage to the Marowak as well. Yeah, so that's not too bad. We will take a Blizzard, so the Garchomp will go down here, which is a bit unfortunate. And the Marowak, I suspect, probably go for a Flare Blitz into the Oranguru, just in case I did switch in the Torkoal. And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to just switch in the Torkoal there, because a Flare Blitz in the sun will be enough to take out my Marowak, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do here is bring in my Tapu Lele and go for a Trick Room with my Oranguru and just cover the Marowak slot with my Lele. So we get the Psychic Terrain up. Now both my Pokemon should be able to take a Blizzard from the Ninetales. So I'm just going to set the Trick Room up and go for a Psychic into the Marowak, just to cover that slot. It should go down to hail damage if it protects, so it's just to make sure that we're not taking any big heavy damage on the Oranguru, just to ensure we get that Trick Room up, because I don't think it's in a position where it can survive a Flare Blitz at the moment. The Ninetales just goes straight for a Blizzard. Both my Pokemon take it quite comfortably. We get the Psychic off on to the Marowak, which is nice. And we will get the Trick Room up with our Oranguru, which is huge. So, and now my Pokemon, my opponent is down to his last two Pokemon, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got in the back. I wonder if it is the Tapu Koko maybe, but you can never tell. So, see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. So it is the Metagross. So this is great news for us really, because we've got that Torkoal in the back. So what I'm going to do is just protect my Oranguru here and go for a Psychic into the Ninetales. Hopefully my Tapu Lele goes down here. If not, and we're not in the worst situation. We just want to try and get that Torkoal in so we can just get one Eruption off, because one Eruption plus an Instruct is going to win the game for us really. So we get the Protect off with the Oranguru. Metagross goes for the Meteor Mash and will pick up the KO onto the Tapu Lele. So that's fine, and we'll see what we're going to see from the Ninetales. Just another Blizzard, so that's fine. But now we've got the perfect opportunity. We're still in Trick Room. We've got a few more turns of Trick Room to go, and we'll be able to bring in the Torkoal, which will underspeed everything on the field and be able to pick up those crucial KOs with that big Eruption. So quite a nice way to end the episode, hopefully, he says. So we get the Drought ability activated on the Torkoal, putting Sun onto the field, and we will just go for an Protect, and Instruct on to the Torkoal And one final big eruption. So the Ninetales protects here. We're going to see a bullet punch from the Metagross? No, because the cyclic terrain is up, so it would negate that anyway. Get a big eruption off onto this Metagross. And yeah, easy KO. Get the Instruct with the Oranguru, but it's just going to hit into the Protect of the Ninetales, and I think we only need one more turn to finish this up. So, like I say, a nice way to end the week and the series with this team. So, I will just go for another Instruct, not that we'll need it, and one big Eruption. And we do get it off, so here we go. The Torkoal team and Torkoal faints the last Pokemon. So, great game to my opponent there. It was a very good game, and we just managed that a lot better than we did the first game. So, that's that, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this week with this team. As I say, it's just been a little filler week between this and then next week, where we'll kind of go real in-depth with the International Challenge team that I'll be running today, starting today. So I'll be recording more matches today. Today, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. So I think it's 15 matches per day. I will record everything and we'll see how we get on. I'm feeling good about going into the tournament. I'm pretty determined to do well. So hopefully I can do well, so I can provide you guys with some really good juicy content, and then I will finish up next week with, I'll break down the episodes next week so we get so many battles per day. And then we'll finish the whole thing off with a team review of the team, and I'll give you guys all the information with how I've done. And I'm guessing you guys will only want to try the team out if the team performs well. So there's a lot of pressure on me to do and perform well this weekend, but I feel confident with the team. Like I say, I've been practicing with it, I put it together, I've tweaked everything, so hopefully it does perform well. And I will once again say good luck to you guys if you're playing in it, so I wish you all the best. It'd be great to know how you're getting on, so let me know in the comment section below how you're getting on it, if you're competing in it or anything like that. So I will leave it there, guys. You enjoy the rest of your evening, have a brilliant weekend, and until Monday next week, I will see you later. So take care of yourself, guys, and till then, I will see you later. So bye bye.